What's up, guys? Oh, no. You gave the countdown. You're messing with me, Chanman.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to episode 99 of ChanmanV's Pro Corner, or Pro Corner. I keep adding the ChanmanV's. Still a bad habit. I'm your host, ChanmanV, and co-hosting me as always is Mr. Gretorp. What's going on, Andre?
Nothing, man. Got into Grandmaster since last time around.
That's right. That's right.
And
adding cred to
I've
the
been
show,
rocking out
man.
dessert.
Adding
I know.
cred to the show.
So that means I've been Grandmaster with 2 races, Terran and Zerg, and I'm pretty sure Harstem can vouch me for my protest being Grandmaster.
Yep, and we want to. Well, before we get into it, I just want to welcome Fnatic.Harstem to the show. What's up, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, man. Enjoying it.
Yeah, really, really happy to. We've chatted in the past about having you on, and I think the time is right, especially you coming back from IAM, doing some awesome analysis over there. I think it was really great timing to have you on, talk about some Protoss strategies with us.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Good stuff, good stuff. So, what you guys been up to this week? I know you got GM Gretorp, but you've just been telling me you've been having hard times with Zerg, though, after getting to GM. You're top 50 GM now, right?
I'm fluctuating like crazy. I went from top 30 to top 70 to top 50. I'm all over the place, man. I just can't get it together. It's just, there's too many all-ins that kill me. That's what it really comes down to. And I'm very inexperienced with the matchups, but I'm holding it up. I'm holding it up on NA GM.
Dude, that's the story of playing on ladder, especially NA ladder, is all in. All in after all in after all in, right? So,
yeah, I think it's the same on Europe, though, so...
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Lots of islands, especially PvP. It's amazing how many creative strategies people come up with.
Yeah, PvP's gotten a lot more interesting with how the Swarm have to say. Pretty cool. But yeah, Harstem, tell us a little bit. It's obviously your first time on the show, and talk to us a little bit about how things have been going recently, and how practice has been going, and like I said before, you just came back from IM doing some analysis, and maybe talk a little bit about that too.
So I switched to Heart of the Swarm, I think early February, something like that. Since then I've been playing a ton of Heart of the Swarm, actually exclusively Heart of the Swarm. Only for a few clan wars I switched back to Wings of Liberty, but didn't really practice it. So yeah, you could say I'm one of the more experienced guys in Europe, and maybe even in NA and the world. Played a ton of games. It's been going pretty well. I think I was top 50 GM when the global ladder was still there. Now that it's back, I think I'm like rank 30, rank 25 on Europe, something like that. But like Gretorp mentioned earlier, it's not completely stable yet, the ladder, so I might go up, I might go down. I'm not sure yet. I hope I go up, but we'll see. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're ranked. It's a matter of just getting games under your belt right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Getting lots of experience with all the new strategies, the new styles especially, in every matchup. Yeah, and like you mentioned, I've been to IAM, do some analysis together with QXC and Jurasar. Tot jumped in a few times as well. I quite enjoyed it, even though I must admit it felt a lot more like working than what I normally do. Like I had to be there quite early, and the days were really long, let's say 10 hours. And it was actually quite tough. I didn't expect it to be this hard. As a player, you always make jokes about the casters having an easy life, but
there you go.
It actually was quite challenging, I would say, and yeah, the casters and analysis guys gained a lot of respect.
You should appreciate that, Andre, right?
Thank you, Harstem.
That's so true. That's so true. I mean, I've heard that from a couple of folks too. That players that have gotten a chance to do analysis or even cast, that they have a new added respect for the casters, because they have to work hard, like you said, and even just what you see on screen takes a lot of work. Takes a lot of preparation too, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Pretty cool.
Lots of preparation. People don't really realize how much time actually goes into it. And we barely have any breaks as well, because the moment the game started, we actually had to watch it to analyze. So we couldn't really either go to the toilet, and sometimes in between we had like 5-minute breaks. So yeah, it's we had to run to the toilet. And I really enjoyed it. The people I work with were a lot of fun, but it's yeah, pretty hard work, I would say. And after IAM, I went to Take's place. I'm not sure if you know Take, but he's the same guy hosting Home Story Cup. He hosted a cup there. I can't remember the name. It was like lots of German guys, 12 people in total. Hasu, Sok, Monchi, Grubby.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
lots of people were there, and it went okay, I guess. Or well, not really okay. I got knocked out in the group stage, and after that I stayed there to practice for 1 more week together with Monchi and Targa. So.
Okay, great. So that the whole IAM thing, do you think you would do it again if Carmack and those guys asked you? Well, of course, you'd rather play in it.
I'd rather
so
play. Like, if I would have the possibility to play, I would rather play. But
Right.
I wouldn't want to do a 5-day event again. But a 2-day event or a 3-day event
Right.
would be okay. But 5-day events are really, really long. Because you also have the day that you arrive and the day that you leave. So
Mhm.
basically it takes away 1 week of good practice. And 1 week can make quite a difference.
Okay, great. So talk to us about Fnatic. We haven't heard too much from you guys recently. So how's the team so far for you, and just practicing with teammates or anything like that?
Yeah, Fnatic has been good. They always keep all their promises. Actually,
That's
they
always
always
good.
do it. So that's one thing that you can't really expect in esport, I guess. But it has been paying off for me pretty well. Yeah, my teammates are cool. We recently acquired a new guy, Mini Racer,
Mm-hmm. Yep. From Western Wolves, right?
from Western Wolves. Yeah,
Yep.
he's in the academy team now. Before that, we picked up Pink and Sunster, a Swedish and a Danish player, also for the academy. And in between the Mini Racer and the Sunster Pink pickup, we picked up Sasse for the main team, and that was quite a pickup as well.
Yeah,
I haven't
it's
been
huge.
talking that much with Sasse yet, but I know that he's really smart and really, he's quite creative actually. He has amazing
Yeah.
PvT.
Yeah,
So
definitely. He's staying over there though, right? He's staying.
yeah, in
He's still living in China, right? Or Taiwan? Or
Taiwan.
Yeah, Taiwan. Yeah,
Yeah,
he seems to be
I
having a
think-
good time over there. So, Hammer is a good guy. I've been trying to get him on this show forever. I mean, I somehow twisted his arm and got him on climbing the ladder once, but I don't know if I don't know if the same arm twist is gonna work getting him on this show. But
No, I respect his attitude towards different shows because we've tried to get him on for NASL as well. And he's very almost secretive about all the things that he does for strategy talk and
yes, yeah,
and just how he goes about like build orders and stuff. But hopefully one day I'd love to have him on here, especially just because he is one of the brilliant minds that nobody really knows about because he doesn't publicize how brilliant of a player he is. But if you
Yep.
talk to him,
that's right.
like it's actually insane how much he knows about the game.
Not to mention his control of micro is amazing too.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, the Protoss players on Fnatic are some of the most interesting. So definitely, you guys are really great players. So Night In too. I think Sylvia will be on here one of these days soon too. I was talking to him the other day. That guy is like traveling nonstop. I swear. Like I think most of last year I was like talking to him. He'd be like, "No, I gotta go here this week and then here this week," and he wants to come on. But yeah, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, Night has quite the schedule. I think he went to IAM to do something with the Acer Home Story Cup or the Team Story Cup or whatever.
Okay.
Like some show matches. Then after that he went to South Africa for show matches. And then last week he was in, or like 2 days ago, he was in the UK
Yeah.
for the ESET UK Master, whatever it's called.
Is it the I-48 thing or?
Ah, yeah, the
Yeah,
I-48.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah,
That guy's
busy guy.
good.
Hey, so where are you living right now, Kevin?
I'm living at home right now.
Where's home again? I forget.
Netherlands.
Oh, Netherlands. Okay, good deal. Good deal. So, what do you think of the matchups right now in Heart of the Swarm? Just generally speaking, like, how do you like Protoss's place right now?
I think it's okay. There should be, like we discussed this a little bit before the show. I think Void Rays are a bit too good against Zerg, and Ultras are a bit too good against Protoss in PvZ. That is. The rest of the matches, I haven't really figured out the matchup quite yet. Lots of players, especially Koreans, have been playing with Phoenixes. I prefer to go for an early third base. Let's say 7 minutes, then defend it with the Mothership Core Cannon, Planetary Necklace, whatever it's called.
Right.
Yeah, so that's basically it for PvZ. I've been playing some Phoenix, but that has not been going so well.
In PvZ?
Yeah, in PvZ.
Oh wow. So,
Somehow the Hydras don't really kill me, but they're always one tech ahead. I would
Yeah.
like to call it like that.
Yeah.
Because when you have Phoenix, they have Hydras, then you get Colossi, they have Vipers. Then you finally get High Templar with it, and they overrun you with Ultras or something silly like that. And I just die most of the time before I really can establish my 5 bases with 25 cannons and, you know, the army that
Oh yeah, the standard. Harstem.
25 cannons, the
Harstem,
secret
I
weapon.
can see one day. I can see one day Harstem turns into that Artosis abomination stream where he just puts up like 25 cannons on 3 base, starts going Tempest, High Templars. That's it.
All right,
That's
come on now.
He's like,
Artosis
okay,
had like
guys.
10,000 minerals. Okay, I mean, Harstem could spend better than that. He could cover the
Well,
map
that's
in
where
cannons
Harstem
before
will
that.
improve. Instead of having only 2 Stargates 80 minutes into the game, Harstem will have 6.
Exactly.
Boom.
Exactly.
and I'll have more cannons as well.
6 and 1,000% spending, like a better spending right there, man. That's like, that's awesome. No, but cannons, we joke about it, but cannons are so important late game in a lot of the matchups, particularly Zerg against Zerg for Protoss. So, gotta use those structures when you can, man.
Yeah.
But,
So then we have PvT.
yeah,
I actually
PvT?
figured out the early game quite well now, I feel like.
Oh, okay.
It was just adjusting to the timings with the Widow Mines. You need to get your observers a little bit earlier, your mothership earlier, so one base can be defended by the mothership core and one observer, and the other base can be defended by your units and the observer. And then you have like a third observer flying across the map to see what he's doing.
Nice,
and
nice.
it worked out. It works out pretty well for me. I have only been doing this for the last 3 days, so I'm not sure if it's completely safe against everything, because somehow there aren't that many Terrans on the ladder. They probably quit because of Wings of Liberty, but...
So what would you say is the limit to the amount that Overcharge can actually defend a Nexus by itself? Like if you have the mothership core there and the Nexus itself.
If we're talking PvT, they can
yeah.
basically stop any push before Medevacs. Once the Medevac
Really?
comes out,
Wow. Okay.
if we're talking about Bio, once the Medevac with Bio, it's the cannon doesn't do that much anymore. The Photon Overcharge doesn't do that much, except like you can target down the Medevac, but that's really the only thing. I'm not sure if it actually out DPSs the heal. I think it does by a little bit, but it's not that big. So it's just a little bit of like a sentry shooting a marine. It's not important.
And just to let people at home know, you can actually afford 2 planetary nexuses before medevacs pop out. There's one at like 5:30 to 6 minutes, and then the next one will happen around 8 to 9 minutes, I believe. So there is a minute where you are a little bit prone to attacks, but 7 minutes, that's when Warp Gate finishes. So you have a nice like continuation of, I can planetary nexus here if I need to, or I can just save it. 7 minutes hits, I have my Warp Gates to defend against everything. And then I have another planetary nexus at like 8 minutes. So it's actually really nice in the beginning stages.
So guys, planetary nexus means photon overcharge on the nexus. Okay, just want to make sure everybody, because I was like, what planetary nexus? What the hell is he talking about? But okay, but yeah, that's actually pretty cool that the timings work out that way. It's a good deal. But but yeah, it's so great. It's so great to hold. I mean, I don't think a lot of people think of it like that. You know what I mean? That they can just, because the Protoss army right now has to split. I mean, you have to split. You have that decision making that you're going to have to do against a lot of Terrans with that early drop type of strategies nowadays. So having a pretty good understanding of really what it takes, in addition to the overcharge is good to have in your head.
Yeah, completely agree. Then the mid game in PvT is kind of hard with the new speed medevacs. I've been dying most of the time without actually getting a third base.
Without even getting one? Oh man, getting one is so hard.
Yeah, it's really hard, especially on maps like Cloud Kingdom, where they attack your third, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna save this big boy, and then you just load up 4 medevacs, get into your main, and
well, that's like half the map pool right there. Then they have the thirds right next to the mains like that. So,
Star Station is even worse, and don't even want to talk about Newkirk.
So what do you think is the key? I mean, even though you might not be executing it properly, what do you think is the key to holding and defending against stuff like that?
Splitting your units well, having lots of map vision, I think. So I build a ton of observers every game. Like I will build 4 or 5 just to see the complete map. I want to see the medevacs coming, and have warp pins ready when you know that he's not attacking. So sometimes you want to use a warp in, but it might actually be better to save it for a little bit to see if there's not a drop coming if you don't know where his army is, that is. Otherwise, you of course want to warp in as quickly as possible, but yeah, sometimes do that, and I like to keep a few Zealots in my main, and the moment the High Templar is out, it gets a lot easier, because then the medevac doesn't have you anymore, and 5 Charge Lot and a High Templar can beat 2 dropships with a little bit of help from the Mothership Core as well, if you really need to.
So Harstem, a lot of people are saying, don't nerf the medevac, buff Protoss and Zerg somehow. Make them have equally strong things to defend against it. What do you think is a good alternative for Protoss to have? Not an extra unit, because Blizzard has basically said they're not making extra units. What ability would you think would help out against that drop play, so that you don't start mid-game to end-game stages behind?
I have no idea. I'm not the balanced kind of guy. I don't really think about something like that.
No, like you can't, like, just what would be nice for you to have? Maybe like recall being instant or something. Anything? Like, do you have any preferences?
Recall wouldn't really help. I guess maybe.
Yeah.
I just want to have stronger Zealots, I guess. That would be nice. But I don't really know what we should get. Maybe they should change the way Stargate works at the moment, because Stargate in PvT feels really hit or miss. If you fly your Oracle into a Widowmine, it dies. I think it's the same with Phoenix, I'm not sure, but I haven't played Stargate that much in PvT. I saw MC did it really well, but it still felt very... I would even go as far to say, call it gimmicky. If the guy had like his Widowmines placed somewhere else, a bit more to the right, a bit more to the left, whatever, your Oracle dies and you're so far behind because of your gas investment. I think they somehow need to change the way the Oracle works, so it wouldn't die immediately against Widowmine. Maybe give the what's it called? The Envision, the detection spell. Make it a little cheaper on the Oracle. Let's say 25 energy. It wouldn't really break the matchup at all, but just so you can spot forward for the Widow Mines, and then you can fly around them, and then a Stargate actually might be a viable option in PvT.
I haven't played around with that much. Like, so in practice, like, how would you use it to spot Widow Mines?
Well, you would just
like
fly
on the
around.
map.
Yeah, with the Oracle.
It's just a scan. Okay, yeah, I got you. I know what you mean now. Okay, yeah. That's actually reasonable. I think that's, I think the Widow Mine damage versus other units right now is something that probably needs to be tweaked in some way. Again, it's just like the Widow Mine, I was talking to Andre about this before last show. The Widow Mine's just getting free shots on things in general is not a great thing. So if they don't change that, they should probably change at least how the damage compares relative to other stuff, right? Or relative to the hit points of other things, right? So, yeah, I think that would be reasonable. Because the Oracle, I feel like, it's such a great addition to the Protoss race, that facet of the game, that I feel like they should do something to protect that a little bit.
Yeah,
should
exactly,
be cool.
because now we don't really see it used as a unit in your army, but as a unit that you either win games with quickly or get ahead a lot, or just basically get really far behind, I feel like. I never really see anyone use it as well. Let me use this relevation or revelation to spot his army coming forward. You don't really see it because it just dies against basically everything.
Yeah. It's a very high risk, high reward type of unit right now, and it's probably higher risk than reward at this point since it's just so easy to kill.
Yeah.
But
do you think there's any viability of using the Oracle in PvZ? Because we've seen it like branch away. I think the only person that's really doing it these days is White Raw. But what are your thoughts about maybe even mass Oracles? Not mass, like maybe 4, 5, 6 at that mid end game stage just for harassment.
Yeah, I bet it's really annoying for the Zerg, but you can't really spend that much gas if they're going Mutas. Let's say they have like a hidden spire and you're 5 Oracles, look at this, and 20 Mutas flying in your main base, you just die.
Or even, honestly, even just like, even one Spore with a Queen goes a long ways against even, 4 Oracles, right? So
I think 4 Oracles would do a pretty good job
Probably, yeah, they probably killed
but
the queen.
yeah, I think
instantly.
4 actually is the magic number. 3 looks a bit nah against the
okay.
Spore Crawler and the queen, but I would say 4 would pretty much beat it and then kill the queen immediately and snipe the hedge or whatever.
I see.
So it still feels, yeah, like I said, pretty gimmicky.
Yeah. You brought up a good point, and Andre, I kind of want to ask you, Kevin. You brought up a good point about just saving warp ins. Andre, what do you think about that? I mean, I don't think anybody talks about saving warp ins very often. I think the pros actually have, they do make that conscious decision a lot of times. But when it comes to talking about strategy, I don't hear that very often. That people, because everybody's always talking about macroing and just being as efficient as possible, right? When it comes to warp gates being available. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's the most optimal way to play. I mean, you're basically giving Protoss a very Zerg-esque feel to them, which I think even Zergs need to start doing more often, where they don't spend their larva right away. And yeah, they're losing a lot of larva, but still, you're losing a lot of gateway time, but still, you make better decisions. If you really want to keep up with your macro, over-make that production, especially at mid-end game stages, because if you slip up, if you make maybe 6 more Stalkers, in any matchup, Stalkers are like the trap unit. You think they're going to be good, but they're actually awful. Okay, you want better units than Stalkers.
Yeah,
So,
just don't build
like,
units
just
just for
that
the sake of
little
building
slip-up.
units, right? I mean, that's kind of the theme.
Exactly. I mean, as you're growing in the levels, like if you're diamond, yeah, go ahead, use that gateway up. But if you're high grandmasters, you do not want to be just making units for the sake of making units. You want to be calculating exactly what you need when you need it, and you want to see if the all-ins that your opponent can do, if you can just defend it with a single warp in reacting to it. And if you have to make extra gateways, it's better to do that than wait for multiple production rounds to actually defend against that particular all-in.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Agree.
And I wouldn't even say to save all 6 of them, but for example, if you send 3 zealots to your main base, then if you have 6 gateways against Terrans or 5 gateways, you use 3 of them, so you have 2 more zealots ready.
Yep. Ooh.
Warp into zealot. Oh.
Yep.
And,
Sorry, you said what was the last thing you said? You can warp in 3 zealots, and then you cut out.
Okay, and then you have like 2 gateways left that still have production available. So you see as Medivacs fly in. With your observer, then use your mothership cannon, like the planetary nexus, photon overcharge, and you have 5 zealots and a photon overcharge, and that will kill 2 drops, 2 Medivacs. So I wouldn't necessarily say to use all of them, all of your warp gates, or don't use all of them, but yeah, be more careful with it.
Okay, sounds good. All right, guys, why don't we just jump? Why don't we jump straight into the replays? And it looks like audio and video are a little bit out of sync there. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. It should be better now, though, guys. But
Man, blame it on Skype, man.
Yeah,
That's
Skype. It's Skype or Twitch.
blame it
Never
on
my
Skype.
fault, man. Never my fault. No, but before we move on, why don't I talk a little bit about our giveaway? I forgot to mention that in the beginning. So we're gonna be giving away a Razer messenger bag. It's gonna be this bad boy right here. It's gonna go to a random viewer. So if you guys just stick around end of the show, we're gonna kind of do our little dice roll there at the end for whoever's logged into Twitch and is in the chat, and you'll be a lucky winner of that Razer bag, and I will send it to you. But okay, let's jump in the game. Let's get this puppy set up. Okay, I think we're good here. It was on Newkirk? Oh yeah, it was on Newkirk. I totally forgot. Yeah, so we're gonna go through a PvZ replay first, and it's a game against Targa. Hopefully, you guys know Targa. What nationality is Targa? He's
Norwegian.
Australian.
Norwegian. Okay.
No, he's Norwegian.
Yeah.
Lived in Australia to study,
Yeah.
and now he is in Germany to play EPS.
I almost said Australian too, Andre. So don't feel bad. Like, I better not say it just because I'm not 100% sure of that. But good guy.
Right.
Good guy.
Just tweeted. I'm sorry. Let's do it.
Okay, no problem. All right.
Yeah. So Targa's actually really impressed me lately. His I always thought he was like a little bit gimmicky in NASL, but the recent games I've seen of him, he is ridiculously strong lately.
Yeah. The one thing that really stands out is the way he engages. He always has the perfect flank. You really need amazing force fields against him to be able to stand a chance while you're fighting him. Otherwise, you're just gonna lose all of your units. And I actually played him in Go for StarCraft 2 yesterday. That's where this game is from as well. And the first game, I was like, well, let me just put down those force fields, and he just flanked my army in some way, and I lost everything. So in my head, I thought, well, I gotta do something different, I guess. And well, that's what I tried. Didn't succeed because I lost 2-1, but at least managed to take one game.
So what strategies do you like on this map, in general, against a 3-base Zerg opening?
I think Gateway Expand is okay on most maps, actually. The ramp size doesn't really matter anymore. Partly because of the Mothership Core, partly because we got better at doing Gateway Expands and being safe against Ling run-bys. However, I still prefer to open Nexus first or Forge first. So I think Forge first and then into something like Phoenix. The one thing that really stands out on this map is the ability to split it in half with cannons, if you really want to. That's what I like to do against Terran, and I think I should do it a little bit more against Zerg. Just build 10 cannons at both the chokes and establish a position and then shoot at him with your Tempest and slowly see him die.
Okay. Talk to me about the Forge
I can tell you right now, Harstem, if you did that, you would win 100% of your games. And I hate you for ruining my ladder now.
Everybody watching Pro Quarter, when you got Gretorp, when you draw Gretorp, just build a crap load of towers at each of the chips.
People do that, man. It's the most frustrating thing ever. I just want to slit my wrists. It's terrible.
So talk to me about the Forge placement in your base versus wall in your natural.
I did a no scout Forge. No scout Nexus first. Gives me a lot more eco. Makes me able to get out my Nexus earlier guesses, earlier everything. This is the build Parting uses as well. Yeah, and because of this, you get your pylon in your main base, so you don't have to send your probe out and lose the minerals because of that early on. And then you actually have to get your Forge in your main base because otherwise your Forge is delayed too much. So the one good thing about this though is that he can't see if it's +1. If +1 is researching, so that's one of the positive side effects of this.
That's huge too. It's like a huge read that Zergs make. So.
Exactly.
All right, there's the mothership core.
That messes me up so much. By the way, from the Zerg point of view, because my Overlord needs to go look at this Forge in case it is some sort of 4-gate. I'm gonna fly in there around 6 minutes. And it actually reduces the amount of site coverage because obviously Newkirk has a very big main base, so you want to be looking elsewhere, and that gives you the ability to hide stuff really, really nicely. Just like a tidbit.
So sending your mothership core onto the map here, especially towards the tower, are you trying to feign a mothership pressure on the third here, or?
No, I just want to clear the tower, make him feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like Andre mentioned, at this moment he scouts the Forge. And my gateways are a bit late. I should have actually hidden them a bit better. But if he only scouts the Forge, he's like, "Whoa, late gases at the natural, a Forge spinning. This might actually be 4-gate pressure." Then I clear. Then he has no vision on the map. He doesn't scout my third, that I already threw down like a minute ago. He might actually overbuild Zerglings.
I see.
So.
Yep.
That's and on top of that, with the Mothership Core, I also scouted above the buildings to see if there were Overlords there, so I could clear them out with my Stalker. Get some free Overlords, always good.
Yeah, everything looks really good. I mean, from a Zerg perspective right now, because if you guys don't know, I've been playing a lot of Zerg lately. This is like one of the scariest things. Now, I want to ask you about this RoboPlay because I've been talking to some Protosses about this, and we've been debating the 3-base going into Robo directly after that because the range of Zerg, you can go Muta, you can go like Nidus Network Swarm Host, you can go Mass Zerglings into Infestors, you can go Hydras, you can go Roaches. The RoboPlay defends against like some of them really, really well, but obviously it doesn't defend against Muta really well. And around like 10 to 12 minutes is when a lot of mutas come. What has been your response to a person that goes Mutalisks?
Okay. So normally I want to scout with hallucination. This was a bit of a hard counter to Targa though, because I know that he likes to go lots of roaches early on. So I figured if I just build a few immortals, I'm gonna be in a good spot. Normally I'll add a Twilight Council, so I can start +2 and blink if I want to. I scout with 2 hallucinations. Let's say I see a Spire, I'll throw down 2 Stargates. And I have my blink to back it up as well, so I will always get my 2 immortals and make a little push at his 4th base or 3rd base to see if I can do some damage. With the Mothership Core, it's a push where you shouldn't lose any important gas units because of the recall ability. And then I really like to play in a reactive way in this matchup. So that's the only thing I've been finding a little bit annoying is if I scout a Hydra Den and a Spire, I don't really know how to react to that because they could be building both. Like if they throw them down at the same time, it's actually a pretty annoying mind game because you really need to get Colossi against Hydras, and you really do need to get Phoenixes against Mutas. So I've just been playing Blink and then 1 Stargate and still semi-quick Colossi and try to stall with Force Fields and a Photon Overcharge.
Gotcha. Well, here you go with your first bit of pressure. This is just a force units from Targa. I like this. And oh, you're gonna get the deny in the 4th, so everything's looking really, really good. Now here's the Muta switch. You know, I'm gonna say I already watched this game. This is like one of the scariest things I think as a Protoss player. So of course you get a great Targa gets greats around. You see the Mutas. Now what's coursing through your mind is, holy crap, I'm up against a Muta switch. I need to get my Phoenixes out as soon as possible. You even get the Fleet Beacon to get that Anion upgrade. I forgot what it was called. Anion Pulse.
Anion Pulse. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I actually already knew about it. I knew about the Muta switch.
About the Spire.
Yeah. And
Gotcha.
so I already had cannons up. Like I was completely prepared.
Yeah, he's got the 3 cannons.
Targa,
yeah, there you go.
He's such a sicko, man. He like goes Zergling Roach and just fakes all this investment in the Phoenixes. I mean, is this, if he switches to Hydras or something like that, is this a situation where your equity is really bad and you're going to lose a lot of the time?
I haven't been playing that too often, but I saw a ton of roaches earlier, so quite a few roaches, Muras, and I saw that he took really late gases as well. I scouted it with my hallucination. He was on 3 gas for the longest time, so he can't have a lot of gas saved up somewhere. Otherwise, I would probably add a robotics play a bit earlier. Then we have this weird fight where I didn't really know what was happening. I think I should have lifted a bit more with my Phoenixes, or at least earlier. I start doing it now, lifting all roaches to decrease the DPS of his army. I think I still lose this Nexus.
Yeah. It would have been tough to save it, even if you were lifting in the beginning, I think. But
yeah, but
yeah, it would have been close. It would have been much closer. So how bad is it losing the Nexus there, yet still retaining pretty much the core of your army?
At this moment, I thought I was in a really good spot. He was almost maxed on roaches, and I had 4 immortals. I had Phoenixes. Phoenixes might not seem very useful in this situation, but later in the game they're gonna kill tons of drones, and they're gonna keep on being annoying. If I have 7 of them, they're gonna do a lot of damage. They'll be able to. He won't be able to make a Muta switch. I'm pretty safe with my Colossi against Corruptors. So basically, the only real annoying thing would be Infestors. And that's exactly what he's getting.
And Targa's playing so sick. It just looks like he's so relentless. He shouldn't have an economy behind this. And really, he hasn't established his 4th base or his 5th base too well. He hasn't saturated them, but still, it's like, it feels like Zerg in this position is just so strong, man. I mean, but you're holding off pretty well, and I feel like you are ahead, even though Targa's 32 supply ahead of you. I feel like your composition is just so sick.
Yeah, 35 roaches don't really do that much against more than 2 immortals.
Immortal. Just
not so much. As well as I had a defensive position. I think I won this fight okay, but like I mentioned earlier, Targa takes the sickest fight. Like this was a really good surround, and then luckily I was able to lift three infestors.
Oh wow!
That change the
Dude,
outcome.
even
of the
those
fight.
fungals were so sick, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was all bald there. I was wondering if he should have neural you there, but then I saw your Phoenixes pop in, and it's like, no, that would have been terrible.
Yeah. And he didn't have it researched either, so.
Oh, okay.
For Parasite. It might have been.
wow,
cool,
that was a sick fight from both of you. That's why Targa is just like so impressive these days. But the fact that you're holding on so well, I really like how you've done everything. Taking a 4th base, I love this decision, by the way, to take the 4th base in the bottom middle. I just think it's a much better decision than any other place.
And
from here, so let's go over. I know there's an engagement going on in the middle of the map, but let's go over your game plan from here. So we've already established that there's been a lot of fights going back and forth. I feel like me not being too experienced, I don't know what Protost's goal is right now, right? Because I don't really know. Like I'm looking at the mini map right now. In your point of view, I don't know if he has a 4th base, a 5th base, a 6th base. I don't know. I see a lot of Zerglings, but I'm not sure if it's going to be another muted transition or what he's going for right now. What is going through your mind? What's coursing through your mind?
Okay, at this moment I thought I won the game, actually. I was like, I crushed that fight, killed a lot of infestors, which cost a lot of gas. He can't really be on more than 5 base gas, so 10 extractors max. And he did have 10 extractors, or actually only 8, so 10 extractors max, so he won't be able to build like 15 more infestors. He will be able to build a few, but they won't be dangerous because I have Phoenixes. I thought if I would just push out now, I would be able to kill at least the base, or just outright kill him. As you can see, my upgrades are a bit behind. I completely forgot about those while he was building Muras. I had a late Twilight Council because I went Stargate, then Robotics Bay, and then was like, I should get upgrades. Let's throw down a Twilight Council as well.
Yeah.
I think the correct call for me would have been to get a 2nd Forge with this because I was getting 8 assimilators, so that's a lot of gas that I'm not really spending because I'm gonna be maxed. The thing I want to do is maybe get High Templar and more cannons, take a 5th base and turtle slowly. If I look back at it like this, I think the push out still was a correct call to make, but I should have had a Prism with it as well. I wasn't using my Robo for Colossi production, so a Prism and what's it called? The Gravitic Drive into his main base, a few Zealots would have done a lot of damage, because with this army you can't really split up with the Lynx. The Lynx are really bad against Zealots, even if they have an upgrade advantage in positions like the mineral line of Targa. It would be really hard for him to defend any kind of drops.
And having the just your comment about at least taking a base, is that always with the assumption that you have recall with the mothership, like, and you're always going to retain this army, like the majority of this army you'll always have? Okay.
Yeah. I'll keep
sure.
the core gas unit, or at least
right.
in my mind that's what should happen. I felt like the recall ability has a little bit of a longer channeling time, I think it's called, that you just stay there and you see your army slowly dying in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
I didn't really like that feeling, but yeah.
Better than losing it all, right?
Yeah, better than losing it all, I guess. So, like I said, I think I should have thrown down some preemptive force field. I do get the base that I was hoping for to get. My mothership core was out of position, however.
That surround, man. Look at that surround. So good.
Yeah. This actually doesn't make sense to me. Like, Zergling attacking Colossus and doing well.
Yeah,
like,
but
my mind is blown right now.
Yeah. Seriously.
It's basically the upgrade.
Yeah, they're 2-2, so it takes like an extra shot, right?
Yeah, 2-2 against 1-1. And he had lots of surface area with Zerglings, and if you give Zerglings surface area, they're strong. The only thing that kept me alive was me killing the infestors with the Phoenix afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Otherwise, he would have been able to just push on with infested Terrans that he had left, or regain some bases and then attack with Ultra Infestor immediately. Now he doesn't really have an infestor count, so he needs to rebuild that one.
Which buys you time to rebuild and to transition into, looks like Void Rays at this point.
Yeah, I think Void Rays is almost always the correct thing to do against Zerg.
Me too.
If you have 2 Stargates ready, well, why not get some Void Rays? They're really strong against everything. And
when you've got a very powerful, we won't say OP unit, why not build them, right?
yeah, exactly.
It's like, okay, Tar,